Hello everyone, welcome back. So this is a slightly different video. If you're new here, I'm Ben Alexander and I make EV news videos every day about news from all around the world. So what I thought I'd do, a little bit different, I thought I'd go to the local BYD Seal showroom because or BYD showroom because the Seal was in Brisbane this week, apparently just for 1 week. So I thought I'd go and have a look and do what I have done with the Volvo, one of the Volvos, and just do a bit of a quality control check. So I'll go close to the car like this and zoom in, and we can just have a little nosy because this is interesting to me, and hopefully you enjoy staring at the little nooks and crannies, and we can talk about a few weird little things that we see. So, they may not be too much to say, so I won't try and just ramble on. But a couple of, as I notice things, and you know, when I was there were things I thought when I was there. I'll just say them so you can just sort of enjoy having a little stare at it. So I actually noticed the paintwork on the outside is really, really consistent and really good. All the panel gaps really good. Paintwork consistently good, and they've done really, really nice. The actual fit and finish. You know, if you're new to BYD and you aren't sure what to expect and you're not sure whether to drive for an hour to the showroom to see one, just expect a really good quality car and then stick the BYD badge on it. That's what you get. So all the stitching, you'll notice, is good. All the switches feel exactly the same, in my opinion, exactly the same as Volkswagen switches. All the handles and the steering wheel just feels exactly like you were buying like an Audi or a Volkswagen. You can see that the material is quite stained from being intensely used by huge amounts of people over the course of the week, you know, as they're going. And that what I notice sometimes with BYD and some other cars is that the material doesn't look so uniform. It looks a bit wrinkled or something like that. But then generally everything else, really, really good. Stitching, fantastic. The feel of the seats, fantastic. So impressions when you sit in it, amazing. It really does feel like, it just feels like an Audi, actually. Just a really nice car that you're going to enjoy to drive, I think. So I noticed, basically, I think that's like Alcantara, something like that. And I'm not sure if that's plastic or glass, but it's almost certainly going to be plastic, isn't it? And the buttons feel really lovely. All of the buttons, the screen, really, really, really clear. I did wonder, I did a little video recently where I did mention the obviously the big screen in Teslas used to be quite unreliable, and lots of stories of the Tesla screen overheating. So what they then started to do is use the actual air conditioning, you know, the actual air conditioning, and they used thermal paste and connected it up, and so now they actually use the air conditioning to control the temperature of the batteries and the interior and also the screen. So they really nailed the cooling on the Tesla screen. I wonder what BYD have done and how they could have done something like that, possibly with a screen that rotates. I just wonder, because this is, you know, this is Australia. This is a hot climate. These lights, I'm not an expert in lights, not a clue what's going on here. I did notice that they're a really weird shape. You know, of course they're going to be LEDs, and they look like projector style LEDs, but I'm not really sure. But they look really nice anyway. I really like how uniform these lines are. You know, sometimes with these things, they look a bit cheap and dodgy. These look really nice, these little white LEDs. This just felt like a reasonably, potentially flimsy, but reasonably nice little plastic cover with some nice sponge underneath it. That's what I was trying to point out there. Surprisingly, they've cheaped out. They haven't used any clear coat, and there is no good reason for not clear coating the back of panels other than to save money, because it is in a kind of way you could say it's a waste of clear coat, but I don't think it is. I think it's just cheap. I think they should have clear coated it, because base coat is not a sealer. Base coat is literally just for colour. And I used to paint cars, and it bugged me when people cheaped out on that sort of stuff. So they only did that on the back of the bonnet. The back of the boot is painted. The backs of the doors is painted properly, but the back of the bonnet wasn't, which is weird. This is a weird stuff. This is like a grease. This is what I noticed on the BYD Atto 3, and I wanted to point that out. I can't help but think that that's potentially for rust prevention, and maybe they just used a cheap screw. I don't really know. Never seen that ever in my life on any car. And I've had a lot of cars. I've never seen them put grease on screws before. I've just no idea. That looks a bit crappy. But I guess if they were to paint that, it would inevitably chip off or become a bit of a pain. So I guess that to some degree has to be metal or bare metal. So I just thought I'd point it out. But it's just that it looks a bit white. It looks a bit like they've primered it and they haven't painted it. Something a bit weird. And they've left it half up like that, in that sort of position. It looks like that position, and then they've sprayed it in black or something. I don't really know anyway, but that's nothing. That's not important, and it's not a big issue. I did notice the handle when I went to try the handle and tried to make it come out of the door. It sort of ignored me for a couple of minutes, and then it let me pull one side out of the door, and then it all started to come out. It was a bit weird, but it generally feels just like a Tesla or something. It's really nice. Of course, these buttons, these are nice. They just work. They're all right. A couple of buttons. No idea what these stickers really mean, other than it's got something about motors on there. I just thought I'd show them, so then we can all refer back to them if we ever have any questions. But maybe if we're trying to figure out what motors they used, I have no idea. But this one is the performance version, so it had 2 motors on it. LED lights. No idea what's going on inside these lights, but they look damn good, I think. This button, just an ordinary button on the outside of the bumper, looked really nice. And crikey, it's a nice looking car, isn't it? In black, it's really, really nice. Really nice. Difficult to present a black car in a showroom when people like me are coming in and, zooming right in. So you're going to see some dust, obviously. You can see, can't you? It looks really nice. Incredibly well finished, this car. Incredibly well finished. You have to zoom right in to see any sort of oddness or imperfection. I do really like that they've put Continentals on it. They haven't used a tyre that has no brand or a weird brand or something. So generally, I would say if you're a fan of steering wheels from premium brands, Audi, Mercedes. I'm not the biggest fan of Mercedes or Audi. Unreliable cars, generally, really expensive and cost prohibitive to fix. But they do feel really nice. The steering wheel and the seating position in this car is stunning. Like, really. If you're a driver, if you enjoy motoring or just driving and feeling like you're part of the seating position and the way that the steering wheel feels in your hand and the seat position, it is good. It's very, very good, honestly. 10 out of 10 for that. These buttons, they all feel perfect, exactly as you'd want. I've said it before, they feel amazing. I wouldn't change anything about them. They feel like a top quality button, but in 10 years' time, we'll know, I think, what's going on. Petrol cap, that little plastic thing looked a bit flimsy, but I've seen that sort of thing on other cars too. Pretty standard stuff. And that concludes it. I hope that was an interesting video. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, and any questions, put it in the comments. Thanks for watching.